bunch of protesters who don't like Jordan Peterson. They call themselves a campaign against racism and fascism, even though they're pretty racist and fascist themselves.
Tenho história pra contar, eu vivi. Dá olhada no.
I'm here at the Jordan Peterson event where a left-wing protest has taken place. Scuffles have broken out. They were calling Jordan Peterson a bigot, a Nazi, everything under the sun. So we're going to go around and interview some people that were here. The protest has just finished. They've just been moved on by police. So let's see what the aftermath is. I'm here with
Dana Pham.
Dana Pham. How are you? Nice to meet you.
You too. Mm-hmm.
So what happened here?
Bunch of protesters who don't like Jordan Peterson. They call themselves a campaign against racism and fascism, even though they're pretty racist and fascist themselves. Rocked up, don't like Jordan Peterson, don't like people lining up to see what Jordan's got to say. Jordan's got a few controversial things, seemingly controversial things to say. It's not that controversial. It could be a whole lot worse. I don't agree with everything Jordan has to say. My concern is less about Jordan tonight than the mob that rocked up, where if the police weren't here, if they could have their way, they'd be blocking people from coming in, they'd be shutting down the event themselves. Thankfully, they're not getting their way, but I thought it was important that they be reminded that we're not putting up with this. If they wanted to rock up peacefully and they actually want to engage in dialogue, that's an actual proper protest, demonstration, whatever you want to call it, and it's actually more productive. I know the mob, I've seen them before, we know what they're about. They're about shutting down free speech, and I'm not going to put up with it.
And you guys came down with some signs today. So did you know they were going to be here, and is this sort of like a counter-protest to
Correct.
that protest?
So they put out a Facebook event, campaign against racism and fascism, put out a Facebook event trying to build up the event. So they planned this. I saw them and I thought, well, that's fine. I think you as in the group, I think you've got not so great intentions, so you need a reminder.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm here today. So.
I got you. And last message to the audience about having these events. Should we be having these events and these public figures come over to speak in Australia, such a figure like Jordan Peterson?
Well, I might have a few words to say about maybe some of the things Jordan has talked about in the past about trans issues.
Please speak on that. Please speak on your experience and your experience with Jordan and your thoughts on everything.
Well, look, I think you can have opposing views, but you can also have nuanced views. So one side will say, for example, gender is a spectrum. Yeah. The other polar opposite will say, no, it's only a binary. It's only two genders. My position is, I think there's mainly two genders, but there's nuances in between, and for some trans people it's a little bit more complicated than that, and we should talk to them. We should see where they're coming from, assuming they don't throw punches. If they start throwing punches, well, they've lost their right to being heard, because we need to have civil, polite conversations about this.
Yes.
But if I was invited to get on stage to have a chat with Jordan in front of everyone here tonight, why not? Most certainly I won't be holding a sign. There'd be no need for that. I'd probably sit down pretty comfortably, and I might have some firm words for Jordan, but I think that's as far as it goes. So.
Excellent. And where can people find you?
Look, as I said, my name's Dana Pham. You can look me up on Facebook, Twitter. I maintain a blog on medium.com, same name, Dana, and surname's Pham for Mike.
Awesome. Thank you, Dana. I really appreciate your time. So what did you observe of the protest, my friend Chris?
Leave the hard hat on.
One of the greatest live streamers in Sydney. What did you observe of this protest?
Just like it.
I believe you're actually top tier live streaming. Probably the best.
Thanks,
But
mate.
yeah, what did you observe?
We're at the Jordan Peterson event tonight, and there was a protest against Jordan Peterson. They didn't want the event to go ahead, they didn't want him to speak, and they took issue with a lot of what he says in his books. They take issue which the cause of some of the problems that he delivers. They believe that vulnerable young men are being delivered easy answers, which are incorrect. That the problem tends not to be within yourself, but it could be systemic, that it's a systemic issue. And there's probably some truth to that, but I don't know where that might be.
Him coming down to Australia and figures like him coming down to Australia and doing speeches like these, do you agree with that? Because those left-wing protesters clearly didn't seem to agree with that.
You have to have a look at their physiognomy. They look deranged. What they're saying is deranged, and I think you don't need to go much further than that. So just have a good look at the people who are, screaming and yelling things at you, and work out whether you think they've got it all together or not. I think it comes down to that.
I'm here to stand up for freedom of speech, so that everyone has a right to say their opinions. And the left does, the right does, the crazy people do. Yeah, it's a human right.
What did you think of the left-wing protest that took place out the front, calling Jordan Peterson a bigot, calling him a Nazi, every word under the sun? What was your thoughts on that?
Yes. They can do what they like. They have the right to speak too.
So there we have it. Some people agreed that Jordan Peterson should be here. We spoke to some trans activists and got an understanding of what occurred. In the end, Jordan Peterson is not a bigot, he's not a Nazi, he's just a free thinker and a public speaker, and we should...
Jordan's awesome! Woo!
There we
Jordan's awesome!
Exactly. So we have people from all different walks of life that truly love Jordan Peterson, and that left-wing protest was a clear minority. They really don't know what they're talking about. At one stage, I believe he said, we're going after the Liberal Party, then we're going after the Labor Party, then we're going to take over. Anyway, that's the story for the other day. It's been a 5-8 take. Thank you for coming along.
Tenho história pra contar, eu vivi. Dá uma olhada no